Sister Rana, can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Body name is Pooja, and welcome you all to this to the course. And just wanted to let you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat. You can actually post those questions to the name Nikhil, or you could post it to me on the chat. And also some information about our Thursday sessions. Tomorrow we have special sessions with different topics every Thursday. So tomorrow the topic is Sow a Thought, and the link will be sent to you on the chat as well. And you can join through our website also, which we'll send it to you on the chat. So you have the website and the link. And you can join it. You have three options to join that Thursday session, which is one is via Facebook, or you can join YouTube, or you can join via a Zoom. If you want to speak to the speaker or you want to have any questions, then we recommend that you join through Zoom. So the link will be sent to you. And it's a special session because every Thursday it's like a different topic. I can see that Nikhil has posted the link. So everybody is free, and you can also invite your friends and family to join the Thursday sessions. Everyone is welcome, and welcome you all to this evening. And I hope you have a very, very, very good experience with our wonderful teacher, Sister Rana. Welcome, Sister Rana, and over to Sister Rana now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Pooja. Just one extra comment. The session on Thursdays, every Thursday we have those sessions. They start at 6.
Sister Rana, I think I muted you by mistake. Sorry, I didn't mute all.
Till when was it heard?
You were sharing that there's one more information, and then I think after that, I'm sorry about that.
No, the Thursday sessions, they start a half an hour earlier, 6:30 to 7:30. And they are ongoing. Every Thursday we have a different session, and that is open for everyone. You're most welcome, and you're most welcome to invite anyone to join. Okay, so let us start with a moment of silent reflection. And as always, start the process by calming down. And as if in a second, come into that more heightened awareness. As if wake up to the spiritual dimension. And acknowledge there is a physical world, and there is this body, and there are all kinds of dynamics going on in this world. But for a moment, just pause, take a deep breath, and create that awareness. Come into that awareness. That there is a visible dimension, but there is also an invisible dimension. That the real self is a timeless spiritual being of light. And just hold that image in the mind for a few moments. Tiny star, being of light, timeless, pure, peaceful, bodiless being of consciousness. One who has come in this physical world, one who has come into this body as an observer. This is the real self. Pure, peaceful soul. And as we go through the rest of the evening, let us aim to just stay with this image on the screen of our mind, even though we go through all the different activities of the evening. Om Shanti. Is the sound okay, Pooja?
Yes, sister.
Okay, so we have been discussing some of the basic understandings required for a meditation practice, and some of the basics of spiritual wisdom. Not that the real self is not a physical being or a physical personality or a position or possessions, but a spiritual being. The soul, and the soul is on a journey through time and space. And the soul has come from the soul world, the home of souls, another dimension of silence and light. And we are in this physical world on a journey, and at some stage, we will leave the physical world again and go back home. And we have done some meditations for soul consciousness, and some a meditation yesterday on the home. And you must have received the information about some handouts. And if you haven't seen it, and if you truly are serious with this, I would recommend you go and check out those handouts. There are some links with some short videos and with meditation commentaries, but also with some information on steps how to build your meditation. And I will quickly mention them. First is you withdraw your attention from the external. We're always focusing on something. Man, many times we focus on this, then on that, then on that, then on that, then on something else, then something from the past. In the process of meditation, you as if calm your mind down. You use the strength of the intellect, your wisdom, your willpower to tell the mind, okay, now we're going to withdraw the attention from everything around. Let the world be what it is and accept it. And now I'm going to focus on what is subtle and invisible, and become aware of the inner being, the one who is experiencing it all. Now, there is one who is seeing everything. There is one who is hearing all these things. Who is that one? So you redirect your attention, you shift your attention away from the external and just raise that awareness. Here is an invisible observer, an invisible experiencer, the being of consciousness. And we are not used to using our mind in that subtle way. So we kind of have to train it a little bit. And training just means doing it a few times, repeatedly. And more you do, more you will become apt at it. There is a world out there and everything happening and people and situations and positions and possessions. And there is this body and their family and friends. But there is one at the center of it all who is experiencing it. And in meditation, you just shift your attention away from all those other things for a minute and begin to create that awareness that here is an invisible experiencer, the soul. And doing that is already meditation. Because for a moment you will start to say, I'm busy, to all those other thoughts and things that come to you. Focusing the attention inwards. And then you take a certain topic, a spiritual topic. For example, the real self is a being of light, like a shining star, a being of peace, God-like in nature. And in those handouts, you will find those steps, and you will also find suggestions for topics that you can use for your meditation. And so let us say one topic we're choosing is the soul is like a shining star, timeless being of light, a serene being of light. Now, repeating those thoughts in your mind, trying to grasp those words, that is, you're concentrating on your topic. In your mind, you're only allowing thoughts and images around that topic. So that is the third step. And the first step is you withdraw your attention from the external and become aware of the inner being. The second step is you choose a topic, and then you consciously allow in your mind only thoughts and images around your topic for a minute, not like a whole hour or so, just a minute. And then you allow, that is like the fourth phase in your meditation, you allow the feelings to emerge. So, for example, you concentrate on the word star and this image in your mind, a tiny star, a living, conscious being of light. Now, those thoughts carry with them certain feelings and emotions and a certain vibration. And now you allow that vibration to fill your mind. You allow those feelings to emerge. If you do that, then you are full-blown meditating. All that you need to do is practice. And the more often you practice, the better. And it is better to have regular short practices, like 5 to 10 minutes, 2-3 times a day, than one whole hour once a week or once every 2 weeks. So our recommendation would be to start in the morning. Before you start to do anything else, take 5 to 10 minutes and go through those 4 steps and create that awareness of the self as a spiritual being, a peaceful being of light. And if you can, during the day, during your lunch break, before you eat or after you eat, take 5 to 10 minutes and again become completely introvert and remind yourself of the spiritual being with divine potential that you are. And at the end of the day, before you go to sleep, take a few minutes again to take stock and move into that more meditative space. And during the day, of course, it is useful to play with those ideas without necessarily going into a deep meditation or sitting down. But for example, we have talked about this awareness of traveler. The soul is a traveler, or the soul is a guest. We don't really own anything in this world, so we cannot really lose anything. We can just interact and experience and appreciate. But everything here is temporary. Those are things to reflect on, to play with in your mind, and to experiment with the perspective of a traveler. How would I act in this situation if there is the awareness of the self as a traveler? How would I interact with this person, or how would I act in this situation if there is that awareness of timeless, invisible traveler with godlike nature, higher potential? And then kind of a next level of topics, you could say, is the topic of the soul world or the home. And another area of topics to experiment with in your meditation is that everyone is a soul. All are my brothers. We all belong to the soul world. We are this family of spiritual beings. And we all have different parts to play and different dynamics in the physical world, different bodies and different religions and cultures and countries and nationalities and all different parts. But behind each and every one, there is the living conscious being, the soul. And all souls, no matter what the part here, belong to the home. We belong as a family of souls. And there is also the parent of souls, the Supreme Soul, who is like a father and a mother for all souls. And this Supreme Soul is remembered in many religious traditions as God, the Father. But it doesn't have a body or a specific gender. A soul who is always aware of the bigger picture. Soul who is supreme in wisdom, supreme in purity, supreme in peace. Never gets into the ego or the identifications or the attachments here. Supreme Soul, who holds as if that highest consciousness, so that we can also come back to that, you could say, seed stage, soul, the original state of pure soul consciousness. And so to remember the self as a soul to remember the home, to remember the family of souls, to remember the Supreme Soul. All of those are like experiences to explore in your meditation. And I know we're giving all of this knowledge in a short time, but it is like a whole world of spiritual wisdom and spiritual experiences and meditative possibilities for you to explore and to experiment with. More you become spiritually aware, more one explores the invisible dimension and begins to experience again that security that comes from timelessness and eternity, more the mind calms down, more there is a deeper, sweet sense of bliss and contentment, regardless of what goes on at this level. And that peace and that clarity, that cleanliness will make you able to act here better and deal with life's circumstances from a place of stability, from a place of clarity, from a place of wisdom, from a space of love. And we live in a challenging world. We live in a society where all kinds of things happen in this world all the time. And all the time changing and unclear what will happen next. So more that world is so volatile and unpredictable, more it becomes essential for us to be calm inside, to be clear, to know the bigger picture, to see this as a drama that is being acted out, a play, and that our own existence transcends what happens here. That brings us a deeper sense of calm. And I would definitely encourage you to explore that. In today's lesson, we're also exploring a bit more in detail the inner dynamics. Now, what we have said, the soul is an observer, the soul is a guest, the soul is a traveler, the soul is a trustee, the soul is like a player and an actor, and this is the costume or the vehicle, soul is the driver. All of those are different states of consciousness to play with, and they indicate, they describe what the soul is. But having said all that, there is within the soul also lots of things going on. And we will dedicate a little bit time to go into that also. So one of the things that people say when I'm meditating, I can't focus. When I'm meditating, my mind goes all over the place and thoughts jump here and there like a monkey. What is going on inside? I quickly get distracted. How can I focus? And so it requires also to kind of become more aware of this inner world and what is going on there. And the technique of meditation that we practice is called Raj Yoga, Raja Yoga. And yoga means connection or union or link, and Raja means king. So that yoga that makes you king again, king of the self. Now, what is that king of the self? And we can also call it, there is this inner kingdom. And in this inner kingdom, the dynamics that goes on in the human psyche, could also say, is one area is there is the mind. There is the mind. And let us say this is the mind. Now, what is the function of the mind? And the mind, in one big area of what goes on in the mind is thoughts come in the mind. Now, whatever is going on in your mind, I'm hungry, oh, there is so much noise outside, I can't focus, I need to go and buy something, and I want pizza, and why did these people talk like that today? All these thoughts that pop up in the mind, that is one of the big functions in the mind. The mind is like a screen or a stage, and thoughts are like actors and they pop up in, in the mind. And some of these thoughts, they want to stay in the mind. Like some actors on some Broadway show, they want to come on the stage and they don't want to leave. They want to have the main, all the attention all the time. They're like main actors. So in the same way, there are thoughts that come on the stage and they want all the attention and they want to come again and again and again and again, and they want to say all the light on them. Do you have some thoughts like that? Cyclical thoughts, repetitive thoughts, thoughts who push other thoughts away. So say for example, I want pizza, I want pizza, I want pizza and ice cream, I want pizza and ice cream. And that thought keeps coming, popping up, popping up, popping up. And then another thought, you say, no, let us meditate. And then this thought say, what meditate? I want my pizza, I want my Coca-Cola, I want. So this is going on in the mind. Now at any moment in time, only one thought can be like center stage. But we can have one thought following a next and a next and a next very, very quickly. And every thought has its own world within it. And every thought carries with it vibrations, carries with it certain feelings and emotions, carries with it a certain attitude. And so, if a certain thought is in the mind and is kept in the mind and is continuing in the mind or coming back and coming back, that thought creates a certain mood or a certain atmosphere in your mind. So, say for example, if you don't like your boss, for example, every time the face of your boss comes in the mind, you get a little bit annoyed. So that thought of annoyance creates a certain atmosphere in the mind. And so more you think that thought, that atmosphere of annoyance and those feelings are spread in your mind. That becomes your mood and the vibrations, the atmosphere, you could say, in your inner world. And that will then express through your eyes, through your words, maybe your behavior. And even if you're not at work, even if you're at home or if you're somewhere else, just the thought of your boss can already shift your mood. This is little bit of an insight in what is going on in the mind. Now we have said another main area of the soul is experiencing. So there is the function of, you could say, experiencing. And the experiencer is like the king, the soul. And the soul has this mind in which all these thoughts are popping up. And the mood in the mind is experience. We experience that. If it is vibrations of anger and annoyance, we feel that. If it is thoughts of greed or thoughts of kindness, different mood, different vibrations are spread in the mind. Thoughts of patience, thoughts of love, different vibrations are spread, and we experience that. So when in meditation you create a thought, maybe a thought of the soul is a timeless being of light, that also creates a certain atmosphere in the mind, certain feelings. And the longer the thought is held, that atmosphere becomes more powerful. And we experience that. The soul experiences that. Now, we all know that there needs to be thoughts just can easily come and go. Now, where do thoughts come from? Now, there is one area that is the subconscious mind, where there are certain impressions from the past, certain tendencies created in the past, certain memories that are stored in this subconscious. And they trigger certain thoughts. Those impressions, if they are strong impressions, they want to push certain thoughts in our mind. And so we give the example of pizza. In the past, I have eaten pizza and I have liked pizza and I have good experience with pizza. So that impression is in our subconscious. And that impression pushes the thought, pizza, on in the mind. Pizza. I want pizza. I like pizza. And then if we go and act and buy a pizza or make a pizza and eat it, and that impression becomes stronger. And the stronger and the bigger, more powerful that impression, more it can push the thought again. I want more pizza. And these tendencies and impressions from the past and from past actions, if they are very deep impressions, we call them sanskars, certain tendencies. And you can have tendency to be patient, tendency to like certain things, to not like other things, tendency to react in a certain way, certain addictions, certain dependencies, they all are stored in the subconscious. And another avenue that creates thoughts are our senses. Senses means our eyes, our ears, the tongue, the taste, the smell, the touch. We see something and we want it. We hear something and we think and think and think about it. So our sense impressions, sense experiences, they also create thoughts. We see something and we create a thought, oh, that is nice, oh, that is not nice, I like this, I don't like that. We see a certain person, the senses. So from the subconscious and from our sense experiences, thoughts pop up in the mind. Now there needs to be one who kind of organize this all. Otherwise, all kind of thoughts all the time come and we are like a victim. And we don't need to be a victim. And that is why there is another function within us. Not all of this. So this experiencer mind, it is within the soul. The body, of course, is external, but is connected through the sense experiences. And this is what the what is it, the the one who guides this whole system is the intellect. The intellect is that function within our psyche that can choose which thoughts to have and which thoughts to let go, which thoughts to hold and which thoughts to avoid. Now, if the mind and the intellect work together, so say for example, thought comes in the mind, I want pizza, and the intellect goes along with that. We go and get pizza, we eat pizza, then the impression is nurtured, becomes stronger. But if the thought comes pizza, and the intellect says, wait a minute, we better take an apple or whatever the thought is. Not now, we've had enough food already. The intellect can put a brake on it. The intellect can say, no, this is not useful, or this is not for now, maybe later, but not now. So the intellect can then say, no, these thoughts are not useful in the mind. And the intellect can allow certain thoughts that are useful. And so meditation and a spiritual, a life of spiritual practices and experiences means you're strengthening the intellect. And intellect doesn't mean IQ. Intellect means your wisdom and your common sense, and your power to discern, and your power to decide, your power to say this is useful, this is not, this is beneficial, this is destructive. Intellect also holds your willpower. And so meditation requires two things. It requires that you're strengthening your spiritual wisdom, you're strengthening your common sense, your power to discern and decide. And this is why all this knowledge is so useful. And then you use that knowledge to create in your mind consciously spiritual thoughts. You allow in your mind those thoughts that wake up your spiritual identity, that allow that awareness of the self as a non-physical, timeless, God-like being of light, the soul. The intellect says, for example, the real self is a traveler. Why get stuck? Why get into all kinds of dependencies? Move on. And so the intellect holds those thoughts in the mind. Or the intellect says, no, let us have thoughts about the soul world and remember the soul world and allow those feelings and experiences. Let us remember the Supreme Soul in the relationship of soul to soul, a relationship of friendship, a relationship of parent and child. This is the function of the intellect. And the intellect needs to be nurtured with spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge. And then meditation is the intellect uses that spiritual knowledge to hold certain thoughts and feelings in the mind and allow that atmosphere to as if fill the mind. And then the mind and intellect create an impression in the subconscious, the spiritual impression of, for example, peace. And once that is happening, we will also use our body to express that peace, for example. So this is like the inner kingdom. And we are supposed to be kings. Soul is the king, mind is like the what, the vice president and the worker, the helper of the king. But what happens is this mind has been allowed to run amok for such a long time, all kinds of thoughts, all the time jumbled up. The intellect is quiet, knocked out, or unconscious. And all kinds of thoughts and feelings and emotions, lots of confusion, maybe even. For a long time that has happened. And with meditation and spiritual, what would be the word? Spiritual growth, the growth of spiritual insights, you begin to observe your inner world. Say, oh, we're going to move in a different direction now. Clean out the subconscious impressions that are useless. Come back to that innate nature of peace, of wisdom, of freedom, of security, of love in a pure way, which is innate, is part of our makeup as a spiritual being, but it has been what is it? It has been suppressed by other impressions and other kinds of thoughts. And so in your meditation, you just say, okay, we're going to use the power of the intellect, use spiritual knowledge, create that bigger picture, and fill the mind with thoughts of truth, thoughts of the true self, thoughts of eternity, thoughts of God, and allow those feelings and that atmosphere in the mind to develop and get a taste again of your own innate higher nature, which is in the subconscious also. You know, these impressions of peace and impressions of love and impressions of freedom and impressions of equality and respect. They are also there, but for a long time they have not been able to create many thoughts here. And now you're giving them space to come on the stage. Okay, so let us have a short meditation again, and then we can open for questions. Yeah. So just take a moment. And as if actively create full awareness of your surroundings, the room that you are in, the position of the body. And then shift the attention away. You are aware of the heartbeat and the breath and the tension in the muscles and the body's position. But you're also creating that awareness that there is an invisible experiencer, a being of consciousness sitting behind the eyes. Timeless, immortal, non-physical experiencer. And this being of consciousness is the real self. And this body and this face, it is part of the vehicle of I, the soul. And this timeless living star is a guest in this body. Guest on this planet. And consciously I choose this topic to reflect on guest. And hold this thought in the mind. The real self is a guest in this body. A guest on this planet. A visitor. And I hold these thoughts and this image of this tiny star who has come and will also travel on. Hold this in the mind. And within it gives a deeper feeling of freedom. Just observe the feelings that are coming within you. The guest is free. The guest has come to entertain and to be entertained. And everything is extra. Every interaction is extra. This body is an extra miracle. Extra experience. And a deeper sense of subtle appreciation emerges. feeling of lightness. And as we gradually choose to come to the end of this experiment, this meditation, we hold this awareness throughout the rest of the evening with a certain interest. And we play with this thought. I am a guest. Om Shanti. Are there any comments and questions?
Any questions you can post on the chat, or I can unmute you and you can ask Sister Rona. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. No question is a wrong question. So it's always interesting to learn from questions. And so if you want to, you can raise your hand, and I think you have the option of unmuting yourself. So if there is any question.
There is no question.
I don't.
You just need to reflect on things, not to experiment with things. You come to questions.
Hello, sister.
Hello.
My name is Neepa, and I just wanted to ask you one question in regards to the soul. Like, I heard, like, I was having this interaction with my friend, and she explained that the soul comes into the body and gets in touch with the people, because they have some karmic connections left with them from the previous birth. And once you fulfill those karmic connections, then you kind of the relationship comes to a dead end and you move on. Is that something you can explain?
Mm. The law of karma is actually part of the next set of course. No? There is a follow-up course for those who have more interest, um, which starts next Monday. And I think Anita had sent already some details yesterday. If you have interest for that, you can register for that. And the law of karma is a big part of that next course that follows. I can say few words, but really to explain karma, I won't do it justice to do it in just few minutes, but I can say few things. Now, karma, one aspect of karma means there are balancing forces in this universe. And so, in our interactions with others, these balancing forces or these forces of justice also prevail. And so, if we interact with each other in a spiritual way, we as if create good karma. And we interact with each other in a spiritual way. We bring benefit to ourselves and we bring benefit to others or the person we are interacting with. So then situations will be harmonious. And that means you are creating a good account, you could say. And you might meet that person again or not, you might meet others, but you have good accounts in relationships. So the quality of your relationships will be good. Now, if you interact with others in a lower consciousness or coming from attachments or greed or ego or hatred or jealousy or comparison. These are just some examples. If you're coming from that space, if you're interacting with others from a physical level of consciousness, body consciousness as we call it, then we are creating um, what we call negative karma. You are bringing harm to yourself, you are bringing harm to others or another person, and you are as if inviting problems for yourself doing that. No? The balancing forces and the forces of justice want to teach you that it is uh, not the right mental positioning to act out of attachments or selfishness or ego or in a limited physical consciousness. So it will create situations that want to try and wake you up, situations that try to push you in a different direction, situations of pain maybe or of unpleasantness. And if you have learned your lesson, you have come out of that, you have set things right at the inner level, then the person may still be there, or the person may not be there, or someone else may be there. But you internally are in harmony and you are positioned spiritually accurate with whatever interaction there is. And then there will be harmony. And so karma is not so much with someone else. Karma is in here, my inner factors. Are they spiritual or not? And if they are spiritual, I invite situations and interactions of harmony. If they are not spiritual, if they are of lower consciousness and of lower quality, then I'm inviting situations of conflict or disharmony for me to learn. But like I said, this is a vast topic and has many, many levels and many angles. And if you have interest, then I would encourage you to come next week again.
Yes, I do. I'll join.
Hope
Thank
that
you so much.
helps a little bit. So in essence, no, the karma says your internal factors invite your external situations or interactions or relationships. And so if your internal factors become harmonious and spiritual, so will be externally.
Thank you.
We have time for one easy question. Difficult questions you can ask Puja. Anyone else? Nikhil, would you like to say something final?
Sure, Sister Anna. Um, I'm just checking the chat for if in case I missed a question. Yeah, I don't think there were any more questions. But after the end of every course, um, I feel that, you know, 3 days to cover, these topics isn't enough. And I know that some people enjoy repeating these courses over and over again. And I really find and I really admire that. And I really admire, that even though you repeat these topics, they never get boring, they never get the same. There's always something to experiment with them. There's always a new experience and a new point to take out of them. And so that's what I find interesting about each session.
Hmm, very good. Well, Thank you everyone for your participation. I know it must have been a bit challenging to take this time in during this week and all the things that are going on in the US, but very good. Even though there are lots of things that easily can distract you, do take time to nurture the self, because how you function inside is at the center of your life's experience. And if we don't pay attention to the true self, to our inner world, to the quality of our thinking and the quality of our inner experiences, and therefore the quality of our actions, then what are we doing? Then we are in the middle of an ocean and we not even in touch and in stable and clear insight. So do take time, reflect, experiment with the material that we have offered, uh, and would definitely encourage you to go through the handouts. Check out the website. There are lots of recordings and guided meditations that can help you start on your own journey or deepen the journey if you're already meditating. And if you want to take it a step further, then you are invited to join us for the follow up courses. And tomorrow, of course, the lecture, Sow a Thought, Reap a Feeling. You want to say anything, Pooja, to finalize? And then we can close with some silence.
No, sister, just the reminder which you did about the foundation follow up course. There's much more to learn and practice, and so the link will be sent to you through your email. And also, do visit our website. There's a lot of information on the website that you can benefit from, and there are links also on the website that you can join this course. The foundation course is a follow up of this, and so it's a great way to revise this and also learn more because there's more to come. So I encourage everyone to join the follow up course. And have a great night, everyone. And don't hesitate to ask questions. You can always post them on the chat as well. So I wish you all a nice and good night.
And let's close with a moment of silence. And in that silence, just create that awareness that the real self is the invisible star, part of this family of stars, souls, one who belongs to the supreme star, the supreme soul. Thank you. Om Shanti. Just remember these words. I am a peaceful soul. And maybe we will meet again. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sister Rona.
Thank you.